Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the importance of self-love. Um, the only road to inner peace, is true self-love. Everything starts with that. And if there's inner peace, then there's outer peace. So it all begins with self-love. And what is self-love? It's a concept that combines two words, self and love. For me, they're just they're the greatest ideas, you know, of our consciousness. Our sense of self is something that all other species do not have. Well, as far as we know, they are not conscious of themselves as such. So we know that we are here. We know that we are talking. We know we are predicting the future. We are building civilizations. We are creating technologies. We're going out of the planet, um, to go to other planets. We're doing a lot of things, which the other beings around us are not doing. And then we have this dualistic sense that there's somebody inside of us, or somebody inside our head, or a spirit inside our soul that is different in a way from what we observe externally. Um, we have this ability to feel so many emotions, and being able to describe it. We have this unique way of language, um, of communication, that's both in written form, is in the form of music. You can express it through art. You can express it through different ways. So within us, we have this inner sense of having a different self that's inside. What's called the ego. Yeah, so that's why understanding the self is a very long tradition of philosophy and even science now. The neurosciences trying to explain what the self is and who the self is. And then we have the other side of it, which is the love aspect of it. We can define love in so many ways, um, but I can draw, you know, based on my background, from the Christian background. They say God is love, and if God is love, and God is everything, God is the universe, God is nature, God means different things to different people everywhere. Um, there's God in everybody, so it means everything is love. If you don't want to limit it, so we are interconnected, and nature has brought us here out of love, and there's a balance in the universe. There's a physical, biochemical, whatever, everything balance that goes on, that sustains life. Like we're breathing in oxygen that comes from that comes from outside of us, and we are exhaling, you know, different things into the planet. And so every and of course the human being is not just made of humans and beings. The human being really is it's composed of a lot of foreign bodies, bacteria, etc., etc., etc. And that's how it is. So self-love for me is just about is really about expressing our highest potential, taking care of ourselves so we can contribute something to the world. Taking care of taking care of our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health. Um, when we're able to do this, then we're able to contribute maximally, or at least near maximally, or to a great extent, to humanity. Before we go, we're able to use the resources that we have to make the world a better place. So where does self-love start? For me, self-love starts with an awareness, um, your own idea of who you are and what you came here to do. So it encompasses so many different dimensions. I'll just speak to one or two of them for the sake of time. And the journey, to this self-love, to this actualization of the self, actualization of our potential, um, starts, first of all with reconciling what is going on within us, reconciling the war that's within. This war that's within is a war between what we have been taught, what has been handed down to us, our subconscious mind, um, and a true core of ourselves that is unexplainable. People, we call it intuition, we call it the authentic self. Yeah, so there's a there's a discord between these two elements. I've talked about duality and paradox in other videos, so you can check the videos on that to understand what I'm saying. So these are the two sides that are at war, constant war within us. Um, to reconcile them just means that we need to accept ourselves, first of all, the way we are. So it's self-acceptance. That's the concept I was trying to move towards. It's about self-acceptance. To accept yourself, you need to forgive yourself for all the mistakes you've made in the past. You need to forgive yourself for all the horrors you put yourself through. You need to forgive yourself for what you learned, even though it wasn't your fault. You need to forgive yourself for any atrocities that were done to you. You need to forgive yourself, even if, I can't just speak for everybody, but I know some people have gone through, some people even came into the world, in very disadvantaged positions. And some other people have had different kinds of bad experiences in life. So the goal is to reach a place of self-acceptance, accepting yourself the way you are. That will bring a lot of calm into your soul, into your spirit, to form a kind of baseline from where you can now start planting other seeds, start trying to bend, where your reality is heading to. Because if you don't change the direction, you're going to end up where you're headed to. I got that quote from somewhere. I can't remember where I got it from. So yeah, that's it. Self-acceptance is just number one. Most of us, I didn't accept myself as I was. I felt there was something wrong with me. I believed all the things that people told me about me, their own perceptions of me based on externalities, based on my behaviors. They could judge and say, okay, this is how you are. And when plenty people tell you that, as a child, of course, you don't know any better. So you soak it in, and somehow you carry it on for a lifetime, which is just not necessary. So we need to do an audit, a self-audit, an audit of ourselves, honest audit, to be able to identify, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our proclivities are, what we really enjoy. Nobody knows those things. No one knows what we really, really, what raises our spirits, what makes us happy, what gives us beautiful emotions, what makes us feel alive. These are things that we need to investigate. We need to interrogate our spirits. We need to interrogate our souls to understand that. For you to be able to interrogate your soul, you need to be in a place of quiet. So that's what I refer to as solitude. That's the second concept now. When you've accepted and you have tried to forgive yourself and you have surrendered, those three, they come first. They are interrelated, because you must surrender Like you must surrender yourself, to your higher power. You must surrender yourself to your intuition. You must surrender yourself to the universe, to nature. This is where we came from. So we cannot be imposing. We cannot impose anything on nature. No way. It's not possible. We've seen it through the COVID, coronavirus, and all the diseases that have been coming before that too. Um, we Nature is nature as it is, and we're part of it. So we need to be able to separate our mind from the mind of nature, and just go into the flow. Like let our mind flow inside, let it dissolve inside the mind of nature, and let it fuse with what is happening. And when it fuses with that, then it flows with the natural process of life. And that natural process for me, means that you're guided, you're led by your intuition. You trust. You don't overthink things, too much, and you just trust that your spirit will tell you where to go. That's a dangerous way to live, because a lot of people like to overcalculate and overthink and do all that. But if you're really looking for inner peace, if inner peace is your goal, or your destination, of course you already have it, but it's still a journey. That's why it's a paradox again, because the peace is actually inside you. It's not outside. It's not something you go and look for outside. There's nothing external, that can bring peace for you. No matter how much money you have, if you have not resolved, your own internal conflicts, you might be living a miserable life, even with plenty money, like plenty material possessions. So there's nothing outside that can bring it. Your partner is not going to bring it to you. Nobody's going to bring it to you. Social media is not going to bring it to you. Nothing. Even making this YouTube video is part of it, but it's not going to bring it to me. The true peace is just understanding. Not understanding. It's about being present with myself, being present with my body, feeling my body, feeling every emotion in my body, relaxing myself, understanding that life is a game, albeit a serious game that we have to play. Our life depends on on the game, but it's still a game. Still a game. I'm not sure if I've done a video on that, but there's so many games of life that we play. So this game is a game of inner peace, and if you want to succeed in this game of inner peace, it starts with surrender. Then when you surrender, there's self-acceptance. Inside the self-acceptance, there's self-forgiveness, and when you get that, then your spirit will guide you into solitude, where you can actually discuss between your subconscious mind, or your mind basically, and your authentic desires, your authentic spirit, your authentic soul, which is a silent, very soft speaking, intuitionally driven aspect of ourselves. Is not so critical. It's not critical at all. The mind is critical, is always questioning and all that, which is good. So both of them are needed. So the mind, we need to interrogate the soul, so to speak. And by doing that, by balancing that, by finding that congruence, we can now flow. We can flow. We can get our minds to flow with what is happening, and the results are really, really, really amazing. The results are what we call manifestations. The results are inner peace. That's the main thing. That's number one, first and foremost, because the world is chaotic as it is. So learning how to live your life peacefully and successfully and abundantly in this chaotic world is the highest form of wisdom. Thank you, and this is the longest video I've done, I think, on my own. So I'll see you guys next time when I make another video. Thank you.